What's going on YouTube? Welcome to WestysAngling. You're joining me for a chilled afternoon's method feeder fishing today. As you can probably tell behind me, conditions are absolutely perfect for catching carp on the bottom in summer. We've got a lovely, drizzly, overcast day, but it's really mild. My dad's joining me today. He's on the other side of this tree, and there's no purpose to this video other than getting a few fish on the bank. I'm going to be carrying on using my new Guru Engage Pro feeder rod, which I've got here. I've got myself pretty much set up. We just need to get some bait mixed up and get fishing, and hopefully get a few carp on the bank, and hopefully a decent stamper carp at that. I know that at this particular fishery there have been some nice carp coming out well into double figures, so hopefully we can get one of them on this new rod and give it a good test out. So that's what we're going to be doing. Let's get into the video and see if we can get some fish. Right folks, very quickly, let's get some pellets mixed up so we can get fishing. So I'm going to go 50-50 per drop. Might as well use all of them, shall we? And marzipan. Now the marzipan are 3mm halibut pellets. So we'll go with a roughly 50-50 mix there. And we'll get them soaking while we set the feeder chair up. And if we need some more later, we can mix some more. I have got some more pellets with me, but these need using up. And to get the swim going, I'm going to put some halibut pellets down this margin here, just out from these reeds. And I'm going to feed up just out from this tree here as well. Let's get a bit of a bed of pellets there, get the carp rubbing about. Right, these will be done. Let's drain them off, put them to one side. I'll throw this out in this bay where we're going to be fishing. Get some smell in the water. Got our bits and pieces here that we're going to need for today's session. I've got some potent sweet candy glaze, and I've got the trusty Power Pineapple Wafters and some original F1 Wafters there. So we'll put them in there. Get our rod rest on, and we're good to go. Right, we've got our nice little cosy setup there, ready to start fishing. We just need to pour our pellets out, give them a mix up so that the light and dark combine. I find that this doesn't only add contrast with the colours on the bottom, I think it also adds a difference in texture as well, because obviously the 3mm halibut pellets will take longer to dissolve than the 2mm fish meal pellets, and I just think it gives you that little bit of an edge. It's been working for me anyway over this last few months and this season's fishing. Really dull day today, so I'm sorry if it's dark on the camera. That is our British summer over with, I think. It's to cool down, which is actually better for the fishing, to be quite honest with you. I prefer it when it's like sort of like 18-19 degrees rather than mid-20s. I think it's much better for the fishing, unless you're doing afternoon sessions like this, in which case a mild day like today, coming up to about 23-24 degrees, even though it's drizzling, I think this is perfect. I have been watching around the lake as I've been setting up, and I've not seen anybody else catch, but I know this corner has been productive recently. Sometimes folks, it's nice to have no purpose to a video other than coming out and enjoying the hobby. Sometimes when you're doing bait tests and all these other things, it can put pressure on the fishing, and a lot of the time it does take away from the enjoyment. So it's nice to just come out and just catch a few fish. Use whatever tactics you want, which we're going to be doing today. and hopefully get a bend in this Guru Engage Pro rod. My dad's fishing one rod as well. I'm only fishing one rod today because it's £8 per rod at this fishery, and I don't want to be paying 16 quid, so just using one rod. I'm sure we'll still have a good amount of fish. My dad's fishing one rod as well. He's fishing down to the right of them reeds down there where I've had plenty of nice fish in the past. Sorry about the wind as well, folks, but that's what we want. We want that wind blowing into us. It's a really mild wind, and the fish here at this particular fishery follow the wind. On the next cast, if I don't have anything there, I'll try down this margin where I've been feeding pellets up as well. And I just need to move my feeder arm round, move my rod rest round, really adjustable, and I'll be able to fish over there to that spot. Just had a bit of a twitch then. Now midday till about 2 o'clock can be pretty tough fishing wherever you go. Tends to be that little bit of a slow couple of hours between sort of like 11 o'clock and 2 o'clock. So if we don't get anything in this first couple of hours, I'm not going to be disheartened. They will definitely come on the feed towards later afternoon, which is more the time that I would usually come for an afternoon session. But I thought I'd come a little bit early, get myself set up, chill out, and get ready for an exciting afternoon packed with carp. Hopefully. But I've had a couple of little tweaks. Now there's not really any bream or anything in here, so chances are it's either carp or barbel. There are a few bream in, but not many. The carp usually don't let them get to the feed. If I start catching bream, I definitely would be worried. Mostly little stockies, but the bigger fish here tend to be in the margins, as they are at most places. But if you haven't watched my video on the Guru Engage Pro rod, I do recommend it. Really happy with it so far. Well folks, it's a slow start so far. I thought we'd have had at least one fish by now in the first few casts. Now if I can't get anything down the edge here, I'll probably try about 15-20 metres out, and we'll try for a couple of stockies until this afternoon, and then they might move down the edge, the bigger fish. Yeah, they're all rolling sort of like 3/4 of the way out. Now I would swap onto the Coram surface feeder, but there's just a little bit too much wind for it. It'd just be blowing it back into me all the time. So I'll stick on the method feeder. Every now and again I will keep dripping pellets into the margin just to keep the swim alive. If there's any carp moved in, that'll just hold them in the swim. Wharf area is there and just out from this tree here. Yeah, I'm in folks. See, I knew there were fish rolling out there. You've got to watch the water, and even though I set my stall out to fish margins today because it's mild, you've got to be able to change tactic. Must be a small fish, this. Oh my god, it is a small one. Still a carp though, we're counting it. Probably the smallest carp I've had out of here, that. Oh, it's an F1. It's not often that you actually catch the F1s in here, but yeah, little F1. Further out, I did say the smaller fish were further out. I wasn't wrong. Let's go again. think I'm a little bit more confident now I've found them. You've got to watch for signs, folks. And the rolling was a definite sign that I need to be fishing further out. Can't predict it, can you? I thought we'd absolutely have it away in the margins tonight. We might do, like I say, we might do a little bit later on, but they're definitely not in the margins yet. Just keeping a close eye on any activity that I see in that left hand margin. Dad's in down here to this bay that I've been feeding up. We just saw some bubbles coming up and I said, Dad, just drop your feeder on there. In his inlet. Looks like a decent one. Let's go and have a look at it. Set the rod out. Is it a nice fish? So this one, it's one of those ones that are lacking the colour. Nice fish. It's not shooting here, there and everywhere though, like one of the stockies. The fish seem really lethargic today. We took that duckling out then. Might not be a bad fish. It's going around in circles. Wonder if it's a barbel. Trying to fight on the bottom. That's a little stocky. It's got a bit of a battered mouth, this one. Usually they're really nice to fish in here. There's a little bit of bubbling coming up from the margin. Again. Now, I know that I could probably consistently catch further out, but it'll be smaller fish. I'm sure that there'll be a couple of bigger fish out there, but it's getting through all those small ones. Dad's in again. Near the tree, underneath the tree here. I couldn't get a bite down there. Crazy, isn't it? It's a nice barbel, that, Dad, but they're on the way up to about £5 in here now. Right. So that's a little one. I think because it gets a lot of oxygen, this lake, because it's always got wind on it. I think it's really good for them, and it's a big water. Yeah, they're doing well. I didn't think it was a big fish. Shot off though. Certainly a nice looking stocky. Look at that. Beauty. Gold coloured. What a really tough session this afternoon's turning out to be. I think I've jinxed it a little bit because I've been bigging up to my dad how good afternoon sessions were, and obviously you saw the afternoon session that I had at Gingham testing this rod out. I absolutely hammered them, and this is literally the next day. I can't seem to get a bite here. We've had a few small stockies, that's it, and my dad's had that barbel. Really tough, very weird. But the carp are acting strange. They're all rolling like towards the middle, and I think it is potentially something to do with this weather changing. I have a theory that carp get really excited when the weather starts to change and it starts to rain after a hot period. You just need to watch the behaviour and just see how they're acting, because they start rolling, they start crashing. They're obviously not in the margins. I don't know what the bigger fish are doing today, but yeah, very, very odd. You literally can't predict it, can you, folks? But that's fishing at the end of the day. That's what makes it so interesting. Well, this might not be a very long session if this carries on. Because this rain's started now as well. Not even brought my brolly. It didn't actually give rain on the weather forecast, it just said overcast. But it's definitely starting. I'm going to have another couple of chucks further out, I think. We'll just have to see if we can pick up a couple of these small stockies. But I was hoping for some bigger chunks today. It's a shame. Maybe we'll just have to wade through these stockies towards the middle and see if we pick up anything better. Dad's into what looks like another stocky down the margin on the right hand side. Yeah, it's a little stocky. But it shot off. It nearly ripped his rod in. Pulled his rod rest right round. My dad's having to shoot off. We've got a bit of a family emergency, so he needs to go. Probably best that he does, because it's starting to absolutely chuck it down now, so thinking about packing up myself. I can't get a brolly in anywhere here. I'm not really prepared for rain. So if it gets any heavier, I'm not bothered about it spitting like this, but if it gets any heavier, I'm just gonna get packed up myself, I think, and we'll call it a day. But I hope you've enjoyed this short little chilled session. If you have, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All the baits and stuff that I've used today are available on my website at www.WestysAngling.co.uk if you want to check that out. Wafters, glugs, liquids, pellets, everything. Check it out if you want. If you want to support the channel. Not really turned out how I thought this session, to be honest. But like I said, that's fishing. Can't predict it. Well, this rain's picking up now, folks, so I think I'm going to have to call it. I'm going to get packed up. If the fishing was full on, then I definitely would have stayed, but save getting absolutely soaked, I think I'm going to call it a day. But folks, at least it wasn't a blank. We managed to get a few fish on the bank, and my dad had that barbel too, which was a nice surprise. But they're not easy to catch by any stretch of the imagination in here. They're definitely few and far between. So I think because the carp aren't feeding, the barbels actually managed to get to the bait. Usually the carp will probably bully him out of the swim. So it was nice that he managed to get that. But I just want to say thanks very much for watching, folks. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you in the next Westys Angling, hopefully for a longer session.